In this video, we're going to answer the question, what's better, Shopify versus WordPress? We're going to go over the pros and cons of both, but the answer might surprise you and it's a little bit different than you might expect when you first start watching this video. But let's talk about what is the best, and let's start with the pros of Shopify. Well, the biggest pro of Shopify is it's built for e-commerce. If you're asking this question, you're probably looking to sell something, which means that you're looking for something that's built for e-commerce. WordPress is not built for e-commerce, Shopify is. On top of that, it's got better credit card rates than you can get with a WordPress site. Now, I should pause here for a second. If you're trying to sell things with WordPress, what you really want is WooCommerce, which is a plugin that goes into WordPress. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to compare WordPress versus WooCommerce, or versus Shopify. I have another video where I talk about WooCommerce versus Shopify. You might want to check that one out. So on top of that, better add-ons and apps. Now this is debatable. WordPress has a ton of add-ons and a ton of apps, but not really when it comes to selling things. When it comes to selling things, Shopify has a way bigger selection of apps and add-ons that are geared towards selling things. On top of that, it integrates with Pinterest and product listing ads, which are two great ways to sell things, and it makes it much easier for you. And I can get into more detail about this in a future video. But trust me, if you want to sell things on Pinterest, doing it through Shopify is 1,000 times easier than trying to do it manually or through WordPress. So let's talk about some of the benefits of WordPress, because it does have some benefits. Well, it's for blogging. If you're watching this video and what you really want to do is blog and you don't want to sell stuff online, well then screw Shopify, go with WordPress. On top of that, it's free, sort of. You still have to pay for hosting. I mean, there's other ways where you can get a free one, but it's not as professional, and I don't recommend it. If you are going to go with WordPress, you should go with hosting, and I highly recommend Bluehost. I'll talk about that later in this video. On top of that, if you want to make a simple small store, WordPress actually is probably pretty good. And using the WooCommerce plugin, you can do it for pretty cheap, if not almost free. On top of that, let's go over some cons. Shopify, let's start off over here. You need third-party apps. On top of that, you need a third-party payment, or if you use a third-party payment gateway, there's going to be a charge. Now, you don't need to use a third-party payment gateway. You can do it straight through Shopify, which I probably would recommend. You're going to get a better rate that way. On the other hand, let's go over to WordPress. You still need to pay for hosting. It's not going to be free. It's not going to be, whatever price you think it's going to be. You still have to pay for hosting. And it's got a much smaller user base when it comes to e-commerce. Now, when it comes for blogging, it's got a way bigger user base than Shopify, like way, way bigger. So if you are trying to do blogging, WordPress is the answer. Not as professional. If you have a WordPress site versus a Shopify site, Shopify is way more professional. I'm going to think, if someone tells me, oh yeah, I have a WordPress site and I'm selling things on it, I assume that they're not that successful. And that's not always true. I'm sure there's people watching this video that are an exception to it, but sometimes I would say Shopify on average, you're making more money. On top of that, you're more likely to get hacked using WordPress. I'm not saying, I don't want to scare you, but I know a lot of people that have used WordPress and they get hacked. Shopify, you're much less likely to get hacked. It's not impossible. I'm sure that anything's possible, but much less likely. And it's harder to customize when it comes to selling things. Now, WordPress is extremely customizable usually, but when it comes to selling things, Shopify gives a little bit more ability for you to customize things. So the winner is Shopify. And in fact, if you use a link here, up here, or down below in the show notes to sign up for Shopify, you'll get a free 14-day trial, and I'll give you a free one-on-one consulting session. So you can click on the link here for Shopify or down below in the show notes to get that free trial and my free consulting session. So I highly recommend doing that. But if you don't believe me and you want to go with WordPress anyways, you're going to need a hosting service. And this is what I personally use. You can check effectiveecommerce.com. I host that. That's a WordPress site, and I host it using Bluehost. And if you want to sign up for Bluehost, click up here or click down below in the show notes. And if you use either one of those links, I'll give you a free one-on-one consulting session as well. So even if you don't want to use Shopify, you don't believe me, click on one of my links, sign up, and I will give you that free one-on-one consulting session. If you like this video and you want to learn more about e-commerce, click the subscribe button. You'll get my YouTube videos delivered to your YouTube account for free. Each week I got multiple videos coming out. On top of that, I got the online store success pack up here, which includes checklists for starting your e-commerce business. So if you want to start an e-commerce business, click up here. You can get my free online store success pack. It has a bunch of other stuff as well. All you got to do is click, put in your email, and I'll send it off to you. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. I read all the questions and I answer all the questions. So if you're serious about e-commerce, once again, and you have some questions, I'm here to help you. So please leave any questions down below. And thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.